if the day's low is respected, then there could be some short covering. Just looking at the last 5-10 minutes of the move on the bank Nifty and the way some of the large banks are getting positioned, could be interesting. But let's see. I'll just keep an eye on this one. We have Ashwani and Mitessh now joining us for last hour strategies. Good afternoon. Ashwani, what have you made of today's mini breakdown, especially on the bank Nifty, and how would you approach it, and what would be your stock calls?
While you are right that it is sideways, some things crop up, which is that, I have not seen this sort of a narrow market where the advance decline is so poor that you have hardly TCS and Reliance which is holding the market up. I would have thought that you would have seen buying on decline. That is point number one. Second point is this 10,800-850 zone has stopped, I think, about 3 advances. And from very basic technical analysis, if a level starts to hold for 2 to 3 times, sometimes it becomes a very, very, very formidable resistance and a turning point. I am not saying it's a turning point, but it can become one, because what will happen is finally all the momentum gets dissipated, and if the market cannot go on one side, it can sometimes go on the other side. So I would be having a tempered bullishness. Plus, what is going up? Pharma, IT and FMCG. That does not augur too well for the market advance, because these are not aggressive sectors. So having said all of that, individual stocks, HUL is a buy with a stop of 2200, target of 2265. Sun Pharma is a buy with a stop of 490, target of 520, and TCS is a buy with a stop of 2200, target of 2275.
Okay, so going with all 3 buys this afternoon, that's Ashwani's list. Let's go across to Mitessh. Mitessh, afternoon. So how do you read it? Nifty Bank is under severe pressure. Nifty is trying to fight back. Any index trades, and what about stocks?
See, to me, I think what has happened, Surabhi, good afternoon, is that the intraday indicators are still slightly on the negative side. So which means that the immediate upside will be difficult, and I've maintained that this 200 average would act as a significant point on the higher levels. So I think anything 10,835, 840 to about 10,880 would be an area which the market may not find it easy to cross. So next level of fresh longs will come in on a breakout about 10,900. Then we'll take a 50-point stop loss and hope for a 200 to 50-point kind of continuation rally. Till then, I think it could, it could be a situation when the intraday indicators kind of even out and the market could just get into consolidation. So as of now, it looks like 10,670, 650 broadly on the lower side, about 10,850, give and take 20-30 points could be the range. Unless until we break on the downside, I will not be really worried about it and trade with a stock specific bias. And once I think this consolidation plays out for next few days, then the base would be stronger to get past and spring above the 200 average level on the Nifty. So for the timing, index is a void for me. On the stock side, I have a buy and a sell. Godrej Properties is a buy. Keep a stop at 880, look for targets of 940, and Z is a sell with a stop at 173.5 for targets of 158.
Okay, fair enough. Well, let's bring Bank Nifty once again back on the picture. And if you see the Bank Nifty future, it's trying to make that recovery. 22,456, 457 is the zone in which the last recovery sort of fizzled out. So it will be interesting to see if it can take this out. I'm guessing there would be some shorts in the system after the day's action, and there's a weekend coming up. So I don't know if too many people would want to carry home those shorts. But we have SP Tulsian of sptulsian.com joining us, and Deepan Mehta from Elixir also joining us. Good afternoon, Mr. Tulsian. First on the big banks, and I'll throw in an HDFC because yesterday it was up quite a bit because of expiry. You were making this point about divergence yesterday. But do you think with today's move, excesses could be out of the way? What would be your sort of approach on the large financials before we talk about some other stocks?
So, yesterday I've said that this recovery, or maybe the positive bias yesterday was seen largely to do with the expiry management, and we have seen HDFC Twins playing a big role in that. And today we have seen the effect of that. That HDFC is down by about 60 rupees, 3%, and HDFC Bank is down by about a couple of percentage. So that is taking a toll. Now, if you really go by the Bank Nifty metrics, it's still the Bank Nifty started with a no premium or maybe 1 point premium in the morning. But now Bank Nifty is having a premium of about 20 points. So that indicates that maybe the FIIs, largely the DIIs, have been seen profit booker, have been booking profits for last maybe 1 week or so. So probably FIIs are seen, wants to exit from the banking stocks, and maybe barring HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank, because both are seen to be the tactical holding where they want to maneuver, or maybe they want to manage the Bank Nifty, they do it with the HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank. But today we have seen the selling scene happening, but because of the low volume and maybe because of the very narrow range market, the volumes is not seen to be very high. Even in HDFC Bank, the delivery mark is about 35-37 lakh shares. So probably maybe the shorts are seen maybe built by the FIIs in the Bank Nifty, and the longs are seen held by the retail traders, those who continued on the buy call given yesterday by the experts, and that they are continuing with their long position. So maybe this caution continues till Monday, because nowadays, earlier the weekly expiry used to give one-way direction, but now there are sudden changes happens within even midway. So I'm expecting this weakness maybe to continue till Monday, because a lot of selling has to get over, and the reflection of that is seen in the Nifty as well. Because and one more point I wish to draw, that whenever the day range of any indices, whether it is Bank Nifty or Nifty, is lower than the weakness. Now here the day range of the Bank Nifty today is 495 points, and we have seen the Bank Nifty falling as high as 550, 575 points. So that shows that if it is on the downside, it will aggravate further, and if it is on the upside, that is seen getting managed. So yes, the narrow range of the Bank Nifty was also indicating, in fact, this kind of pattern we have seen 2-3 days back as well. So overall, the weakness in Bank Nifty may be seen till Monday, and then the things should normalize on account of the technical positions also in case of the Bank Nifty, which is now seen in an overbought position. So once the cash holding gets liquidated by the strong hands, maybe like FIIs and all that, then again they will come buyer. So probably they may be building up the shorts in the future now, with the long seen held by the weak hands. So that is seen to be still giving a cautious view till Monday on Bank Nifty.
Okay, so that's a call on the Bank Nifty. We have Dipan Mehta of Elixir also with us on the show today. Dipan, I was just taking a look at the weakness in mid caps. It's very pronounced. The index is down almost 1%. And let me take one example. Let's look at Jubilant Foodworks. Lots of pressure on the stock today. It's down almost 4.5%. Through the week, it's actually been struggling. And this after a dream rally from the March lows. It's up 50% from the March lows. What's your thought? Would you look at buying it at all at any point?
Not really. I think considering the valuation that Jubilant Foodworks is trading at, I would be a bit cautious at this point of time. And no doubt the takeaway business for Jubilant Foodworks is holding up well, but they have a large portion coming from the restaurant business as well. Walk-in customers coming in, sitting in the restaurant, enjoying the ambience and the pizza over there. So those revenues are certainly going to get hit drastically in this particular lockdown. And even after the lockdown gets lifted, getting into a restaurant is going to be a bit of a difficult situation, considering social distancing norms and the overall fear of not being in touch with any other humans which may have this particular virus. So while the long-term secular growth story of Jubilant Foodworks is great, it's got the skill, it's got the track record, got the management and the brand, but I think you have to wade through a lot of uncertainty and negative news flow over the next 2-3 quarters, maybe even longer, depending on how normalcy returns. And that kind of a disappointment in earnings has not got factored into the share price. I think at this valuation, there's not much margin of safety if you have to have 2-3 quarters of seriously negative operations on account of absence of actual customers coming into the restaurants. So I would be a bit cautious in Jubilant Foodworks given the valuation it's trading at.
Okay, a bit cautious on Jubilant Foodworks. Now let's revisit the stock of the day once again. Mr. Sen, Reliance now at 1885. I mean, it's just one way move. Once again today, fresh all-time high. I mean, 1885 on futures, 1878 on the spot. But, is this a build-up to the AGM? What sort of justifies this kind of a move?
So, definitely that this is a built-up scene ahead of the AGM, which is due on Wednesday. And in fact, what has been observed that the share is moving up on the very low volume. We are not seeing very much big volume seen coming in, but the ground report which suggests that the hedge funds are seen to be buyer. In fact, they have been holding the position. Generally, hedge funds, reshuffle the portfolio or maybe book profit very quickly, maybe in a couple of weeks to 2 to 4 weeks. But this time they have been seen holding it. And probably once the AGM the announcements are seen having announced, if something positive comes, then you see a big breakout scene coming in again. But if there are any kind of disappointment or no new bullish kind of announcement seen in AGM, then we may see the liquidation. So yes, the things are seen definitely on the expectation of the AGM announcements to be seen on 15th July.
Okay, yes, absolutely breathtaking move in Reliance today. Let's take a break on that note. We will come back. The conversation continues. And on the other side, we are also chatting with